Right. Welcome to Own Your Change. Today I will be having a conversation with Anthony. Anthony is a new friend of mine that I actually just met back in February for the first time. Anthony and I have become friends through the Green Door Life community. That's how we first got introduced to each other. And I have personally been really connecting with you for the last, I would say, month or so on a deeper level. We have been getting to know each other. And the starting point with that was I began taking your fascia flow classes. And then I started talking with you about the Human Garage, which is the company that you have learned these fashion maneuvers for. So I want to start right now giving you an opportunity to kind of introduce yourself, and you can take it from here.
Thanks. My name is Anthony Chiechi. I recently started working, I got certified with Human Garage, so I've been working as a coach. I've been doing some hands-on work, some of those things you might see if you follow them on Instagram or YouTube. I also am a certified or licensed body worker. And before that, I worked as a personal trainer for 10 years, and I specialized in something called Z Health, which is a functional neurology approach to understanding the body and helping people get out of pain or into performance.
Yes. All right. Well, I want to really dive into what you do specifically with the Human Garage fascia flow and fascia maneuvers. So let's start there.
Yeah.
Can you describe to the average person what are fascia maneuvers?
Yeah, so the way we usually start there is just okay, what is fascia? It's become more mainstream now, and typically you would think of the example of like the skin you would see peeling off of ribs or chicken, like the white skin. And that kind of idea of things started when cadavers were first being examined, and you're seeing this tissue as dried up and essentially dead, and it looks sticky and hard and like jerky or something. But if you actually can get under the skin, there's videos on this called Strolling Under the Skin on YouTube. You can see living fascia. And what you're going to actually see is what looks like a living gel, watery gel substance that looks like a spider web that's moving around. And it's in fact moving. It's alive, it's smart, it's water and minerals, it's conductive, holds electric charge. So what Human Garage figured out was how to manipulate that yourself, on yourself. And they basically give that away, this 15-minute practice called the stress reset, doing what's called fascial maneuvers, to decrease stress in real time and to start actually moving those tissues that hold emotions, so you release stored emotions, which of course can be trauma. They're, in fact, trauma and emotional release exercises. And the way you work with fascia is through breathing and through pressure. So they might have you twist your body up and breathe in a certain way, and it's with the intention of changing your pressure inside so that your body redistributes and releases. Let's do that now because we forgot to do that. So what we do on meetings, calls,
Yes.
is we sync up. So
Mm-hmm.
I've got my left leg crossed over my right. So you could do that any
Okay.
way. It could be just your ankles or your whole leg. And then you
Yep.
take your left hand and go underneath and right arm on top, like you're giving yourself a little hug. We've kind of connected polarities of right and left, positive, negative, or masculine, feminine, however you want to see it. We're going to turn our head to the right, shoulders to the left, and we'll breathe in through the mouth together. 1, out, 2, out, 3, out, through the nose, out, 2, out, 3. And so what you'll notice with that is typically some calm. It'll feel usually like we're a little more pulled in and connected, and like the outside world's a little further out. Kind of makes a little bubble. So you actually, if you walk with someone, if you're sitting in a circle chatting or you're doing whatever, you're going to find that those systems, those nervous systems of those people sync up. And so what we just did was speed up that process.
Yep.
So yeah, that was all just kind of an example of one of the positions. It's called totally twisted. If you're turning your shoulders this way, your head this way, you're creating these bottlenecks of tension through counter rotation. And then we'll pull our abs tight, pull our pelvic floor up, we'll breathe into that tension, and that pressure expands from the inside out. And that's the basic premise. So there's like 30 something different maneuvers, different positions, target either your full body or just your hips or your arms. And you're
Yep.
basically wringing yourself out.
Yeah, so I will describe my experience today. I took your fascia flow class with a group of, I think there was maybe 4 or 5 of us. And so you first began the class kind of checking in, just like you just did with us. You centered us, you asked how we're feeling. And I think what's interesting is you're looking at, so say, for example, I said, I'm feeling something in my body. And you want to know kind of where am I feeling that? And so you kind of help redirect, okay, is it in your brain? Do you even know where it is? Is it in your solar plexus? And then what is it like for you when someone says they feel anxious? Where do you try to redirect them as a coach to bring it back into the body?
Yeah. Our class is a little more specific. I mean, mine's called fascia flow because it's my own little expression of how I like to go through the maneuvers. When they teach you, there's no real specific order. They give you how to do it, but they want you to kind of express yourself freely, find your identity. Typically, you'll put together like 10 moves and really pump people up, talk in between, get some big changes, some releases maybe. People feel high, they feel elevated, you feel good. With our class, since a lot of us know each other, we've done some other courses together through Green Door Life, we're a little more intimate and we can talk about what people are feeling on a more in-depth level. And a lot of the topics we've been going through is understanding, feeling, and belonging in your own body. In some of the courses we've done together. So I get very specific with us. It's something you won't probably find typical with it if you do a human garage class, because it's not taught that way. Since I know that a lot of us are in the process of looking at, maybe I'm not in my body as much as I'm in my mind, and there's an impact of that, I have us do that. So when I have someone say like, okay, I'm noticing anxiety or going through something like that, I mean, with my own story, personally, like, my healing started with when I learned that I feel something in my body that's okay and that's good, and I could just feel it, and then my body's trying to tell me something, and my mind will interpret that 1,000 different ways. And it's up to me to learn how to feel it and be okay with whatever's happening and take whatever meaning I want from it. So if someone says they're feeling anxiety, it's almost exploratory, it's curiosity. I tell people to take it on like a child who's interested, and it's like, oh, hey, body, like, okay, anxious, what does that mean? Where do you feel it? You can get really nerdy and specific and look at, maybe there's an organ that Chinese medicine says it's held there, or I might think I know that or have been told that, but I don't really think that's too important. Like in that class, it's more about exploring yourself and getting in your body, just in any way. So yeah, everything I do with you guys is almost 100% different than I do with any other class. And it's just geared towards being okay to experience yourself.
So what I'm hearing that's interesting is we can look at pain in a physical sense, or we can look at it from kind of a deeper meaning of, your heart or your soul. And then you also have emotional pain. So let's create the physical pain picture real quick, because that's what ultimately got you, if I'm understanding correctly, to the human garage. So from a physical sense, what were some of the injuries that you can summarize of what got you to one at the human garage?
I mean, it's a bit of a long story. Physical pain is interesting, right? Because you'll hear things like no pain, no gain, which is very true in some cases and also very untrue in some cases. But as a young child, I wasn't very confident. I wasn't in very good shape. I didn't have a lot of friends, and sports is kind of what got me going with all that. And baseball was the first one, and baseball is kind of like a one-sided sport. You might get hit with the ball once in a while, like things like that, but like it's not like football or anything.
Team.
Yeah, or like soccer, where you're like, okay, soccer, you're going to run so much you feel like you're going to throw up and your legs are going to hurt.
Right.
Football, you're physically banging into people. Baseball was a good introduction, and you'll see players that don't look like they're in amazing shape. I started feeling good and getting into my body and expressing myself and having fun with baseball, and then football came shortly after, and that's when things started hurting. And it was kind of like, yeah, there was a lot of gain that came with learning how to push myself. I got in shape. I went from running like a 13-minute mile to an 8-minute mile. And I noticed myself running around and doing laps with the guys that were in shape, and they were also cooler and better at football. And so I had an interesting experience with understanding pain equals like being part of the team and feeling good.
Yeah.
And
Just pushing
and
through, kind of.
being cool, and yeah, but also it really sucked, and like it was like it came at a cost. By the time I was 13, I was seeing a chiropractor for my lower back, and that was, what we were told to do. And at that time, I just did what my dad did. I mean, since I was good when I was younger, that was Pop Warner football. I achieved at a higher rate in high school, and I was big and strong, so it was just like wrecking myself. But then you were cool. You're the captain. You're
Hmm.
important.
You're rewarded.
Also, yeah, even like just lifting weights, like you get sore and it hurts, and we weren't really taught really well, and you're figuring it out. We didn't even have like YouTube to teach us anything back then. I'm like literally reading magazines. So you've got the physical soreness of lifting weights and the pain of that, but then you get big muscles, and you're cool and you're more attractive or something. So yeah, I had an interesting relationship of sacrificing my body to gain something that I thought was cool or important that helped me fit in.
Right.
I mean, if you want to go further, that went into college, and
Yeah.
that's
Yeah, I want
always
you to
kind of there.
expand a little bit on, in terms of how we're looking at pain as a kind of as a new portal for your identity, where it sounds like at first, you shared with me your experiences with football and your experiences with all these concussions that you physically got you
Yeah,
physically experienced all these concussions, and you were encouraged, you were rewarded to keep pushing, keep going hard. This is
yeah,
what we do. This is the team. And so, throughout all these injuries that occurred through a team sport that you were just, going along with, you liked it, you were rewarded, you thought it was fun. And then your body kept score of this.
100%.
And what did it look like when you were in an opportunity to have to rewrite this story?
Yeah, the body sure does keep the score in so many ways. So I ended up having my first surgery when I think I was in high school on my knee. It was like, orthoscopic. It wasn't a big deal. That was my first introduction to painkillers. And my parents regulated it. It was like, if it hurts, you take a pill. Like,
Yeah.
that's what we got taught. No big deal. And then so as it advanced, and let's say that happened maybe freshman year, and now I'm a senior and I'm beating the hell out of my body. They see me in so much pain, they're like, yeah, just go get one of those things out of the cabinet. So
Mm.
it was very normal for me to have a Vicodin or to eat, six ibuprofen a
Hmm.
day, things like that, and keep
And
going.
this
That went.
is this is because
You're just
of playing football, right?
physically in pain, yeah.
Yeah.
Like I'm smashing my body to hell. My parents see it.
Hmm.
They're trying to encourage and help, and they don't know anything about pain
Hmm.
except for what they were taught: take the pills,
Right.
ice it.
So your
All the
doctors
things
are
that we
telling
know
you,
is
yeah.
wrong. Yeah, I mean things. It's the things we kind of grew up with, where we didn't have the endless amount of information we have now. So this went on through college in the Midwest. We were actually self-medicating a lot in the Bay Area, San Francisco Bay Area, with wheat, which we now know is actually good for injuries like this. It helps. It's a medicine now, but it was before all that. So what we could get was painkillers. So I had a really tough time with that, because the more pain, or the more painkillers you
Mhm.
take, the more pain you can get through. So it was just worse and worse and worse. So
It's
when
a
I
mask
came out,
almost.
yeah, you just put yourself in the same place, and again, the
Right.
body's still keeping the score, but you're numb. So
Mhm.
long story short, after college, I ended up getting into training, and that's where I went further, because I couldn't really do any of the things. I couldn't help myself as much as I
Mhm.
could help others. I started going into
Right.
understanding the neurology of this. And so the easiest way to look at this from that standpoint is pain is a behavior change indicator, or it's just your body
Mhm.
feeling something. Your brain goes, we need to do something different. It's a communication. I would tell people it's your version. If a baby cries, you tend to it. Is it
Right.
wet? Is it hungry? Does it need
Hmm.
to be held? Your body's pain is essentially the same thing. Now,
Physical pain.
I
That's correct.
yeah, physical pain. And so I started learning those things, and I could see how that was all connected, and I was able to get myself out of pain. But there was still pieces that never got better. Like
Hmm.
I could make a lot go away, but it never fully went away. And it wasn't until I started getting into more of the bodywork world, getting into different books, seeing something like Human Garage, where I started looking into, okay, what's going on emotionally here? We're not taught to notice that we feel something, and then that feeling is the precursor to an emotion, and all of that feeling and emotion is interpreted by our brain, which gives us this whole experience. If you feel a certain way, like in football, you get told to shut up or go to the trainer, or like get up and keep going. I don't care how you feel, keep going. You know, when we were
Right.
kids, we talked about this in class today. You get your feelings hurt, you got to be tough. No one goes, no, not many people sit you down and go, okay, let's talk about your feelings.
Right. Right. And I think that's what's so interesting about, if we want to look at kind of traditional rehab programs, or what Eastern versus Western medicine likes to, what their approaches are. And I think what I hear from your story is, it's not just a one size fits all. It's not, okay, you have to have back surgery and then you're going to do this rehab and then you're going to take this medicine and everything's going to be fine.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think I'd like for you to talk more about, when we think of body work. I understand what that means, but what does body work mean to you? It's not a term that everyone's familiar with.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, when I say body work, I'm talking about massage. I went to a school that teaches, it's called Neurosomatic Therapy, Center for Neurosomatic Sciences, and it's very much a therapeutic massage. Clinical massage is what they would call it. You're measuring points on the body to see where there's imbalances. Those imbalances inform you where to go to bring the body back to balance. It's really amazing, even just what we learned there, which doesn't really go deep into the fascia, it doesn't go into the emotions. It did go into like organs and intraoral work, working on the cranium, like really cool in-depth stuff, to where it just understanding that, again, if you're in pain, you're getting a signal, something's going on, right?
And we should listen.
Sometimes,
We should.
yeah, that the type of body work I learned was learning how to understand that there's so many different interpretations of that. Like our whole body is like a universe, literally just billions and trillions of things going on. And sometimes you just need to like loosen up a little bit here, loosen up a little bit down here, touch someone's, stomach a little bit, and all their symptoms go away. Or there's trigger points, right? Like you could be feeling pain down here on your wrist, and it's coming from in your armpit, right? So there's a lot of cool stuff with that kind of clinical or like really well educated body work, where it's not just like smoothing things out. Like there's things like just physical touch, right? Like just having a nice massage, where even if it's just your partner touching you, you're co-regulating, you're touching, someone's touching you, your receptors are going off, your brain can literally locate itself better.
Right.
This is some of the nerdy stuff I learned when I was a personal trainer focusing on neurology, is like sometimes there's pain because the brain literally just doesn't know where the physical body is in space. We get information through something called mechanoreceptors. There's lots of them around joints. So just touching, let's say this knee hurts, touching it, moving it a certain way, gives information or input. That input goes from your knee to your spine up to your brain. It can then be interpreted. You get like a map, like, oh, okay, I feel someone doing this. I feel someone squeezing it. And it's like, I have something there. And it could stop, like I've had people get out of pain in minutes from like just doing something simple like that, showing them how to move their body part.
Right.
So yeah, so when I say body work, I use it under licensure to like just be able to explore with people. I don't do a ton of just massage sessions. I might be working with understandings of the nervous system, which is like doing some breath work or doing some vision, eye drills, inner ear work, understanding how to tension nerves, something called nerve flossing and gliding. And then also under the fascial work, I'll help them move their fascia. I might help them move some organs, do some organ work. Yeah, so that's what I mean when I say body work.
Yeah. So what I've experienced since I've been doing your fascia flow classes, just to connect it back, I think sometimes some of the work that you do, some of the work that I do, can kind of get a little woo-woo judgment from people. I don't think until you go through the experience yourself,
Yeah.
you really understand what is actually happening. And so when I describe like my experiences when I'm taking your class, what I notice in myself is it's first slowing down. Like that's the very first thing, is just you're going through life, you're going through your day, you're doing a million, you're working, you're doing all the things you need to do. And like when I stop and actually slow down and listen, it's like this is life changing. Just for 45 minutes a day, you just have to stop stop everything, turn off all your devices, and then just pay attention to your body.
Yeah.
And it's such a simple concept if you really just break it down and bring it back to how you're feeling. I would
Yeah.
say. I would say physically, how are you feeling? What is your emotionally, is there anything coming up for you right now? I think there's so many signals going on in your body at a
Yeah.
time that it becomes like
It's a lot to perceive.
yes.
It's
Yes.
overwhelming. So when I talk about this, our perception will give our experience, right? So the amount you're able to perceive as happening will give you the level of experience you're happening. And that can even inform your belief and it can inform everything. So when you talk about woo, um, I think that's an encompassing kind of term that can be used derogatory, but I think more nowadays it's like what hasn't been proven, and actually a lot's being proven. So when I think of the woo of this, like myself, when I got really deep in, when I really started doing Human Garage, I found them on YouTube. I had
Mm-hmm.
recognized the name because I had understood that a few people that did the neurology work with Z Health worked in their clinic when it was a physical location called the Human Garage. And I was like, oh, cool. I know there's someone who does what I do there. That's neat because they're really good at that. And they work with professional athletes, and I do something that someone else does that's really impactful. I'm like, neat.
Mm-hmm.
So you just remember a specific name. Shortly after COVID started, Human Garage came up with these fascial maneuvers as a self-care practice, and it was for free on YouTube, a 15-minute video called The Stress Reset. At that time when I found that, I was coming out of the stress of COVID. I had had a major concussion again, and I had gone through so many concussions in concussion rehab that I was really down. I mean, we're talking I could barely just sit on the couch and watch TV, and I would cry and not be able to do anything I could do. It was very emotional. And I got so overwhelmed with things, my perception of life, just having a brain injury, had no emotional regulation, that one night I ended up doing Wim Hof breathing, which is just hyperventilating. And I was able to understand. I'm like, oh, okay, I know how much breathing regulates the nervous system. I know so much about it. This is interesting. I'm hyperoxygenating. I'm holding my breath. I know I'm lighting up so many different parts of my brain and brainstem. I'm uptaking oxygen through my body, signaling for so much CO2. Like I was like, oh, nerding out. This is cool.
Mm-hmm.
Then I started doing Human Garage as my one thing. The breath work was my kind of bridge to that because they would do some of the similar breathing techniques. It's just not as effortful and you're moving your body. And I started to perceive the world differently. All I did was these videos and my emotional capacity would change. My pain would go down. I could get back into noticing my body dealing with stuff the way I could before because I was already a very aware person. And it was very strange for me because I didn't do anything I had learned you need to do to rehab your brain and these things. And I was like, okay. So really, when you decrease stress, there's more available, there's more resources available in your system for your vision, your hearing, anything. You're out of stress, you're more aware of what's around you. So these exercises they increase your perception. If you do enough of this work, let's say you're doing 15 minutes of increasing your perception every day, whether it's through meditation or breathing exercises or my neighbors playing loud music, you become more aware of things. And
Mm-hmm.
so at a certain point, when you do this enough, you start just noticing different things. And so it goes back in. If you perceive it, you experience it, you believe it. And it's this cycle of every time I do the fifth or sixth fascial maneuver, I feel really tingly. I feel really good. I forget the things I was worrying about. The plants look greener. Life feels better. I'm like, okay, well, I'm perceiving that. I'm experiencing that. I believe that this is working. And then your belief slowly transitions into faith, just knowing, right? Just like with a religion or anything. So when someone talks about woo, they usually haven't had that lived experience. They haven't had something that helped them build a perception of something that is beyond our sight and our touch and the basics. There's the the amount of the spectrum of light we perceive is what 1% of it, what's actually out there. Microscopic organisms, things like that. We're full of how many billions of bacteria, and our bacteria has bacteria. We're basically made of water, sand, and bacteria and bugs. Like what we think we know is our biggest limitation to our experience. And so yeah, when people use terms like woo, I think it encompasses something huge. There's so much out there, and I'm at the point now with these exercises where I will perceive other people's pain in my body. I feel their body energetically communicating with mine, however you want to say it, whether it's their soul or whatever. But we have an electromagnetic field. Our fascia is made mostly of water and minerals, which can hold electromagnetic energy. And so I'm doing exercises that release that. And as I've done that more, I perceive more things. I mean, physics, it's all showing it. Quantum physics, everything's starting to back this up. And just because we can't understand it doesn't mean it doesn't exist.
Right. And I think what's interesting is this is something you and I have touched on a few times together, is if you're not aware that this isn't even an option, you don't even, if all your doctor is telling you is surgery, here's the medication, this is your solution, and simple things that you could do to your daily lifestyle, decreasing stress, going outside for a walk, hydrating, like the most basic fundamentals aren't discussed.
No.
Is
It's insane. It's enraging. I think people like you and me had to discover it through like the old school of hard knocks, or just through experience. Like for me, it started with being in so much pain. I found working out. Working out helped. Then it went to C help. I learned these things which really looked like just joint exercises or eye exercises. I had clients that would come to me on the edge of surgery or dealing with chronic pain for years, and I could get them out of pain in 1 to 3 sessions. And I learned all this because I did it for myself. I was like, okay, I did painkillers, I did surgery, I did all the things, it didn't work. And then you just keep going on your journey, right? Like then it was body work. And I learned in school, like you got all these people coming with so many problems that you can get rid of with good body work, like comprehensive understanding of the body. The next level of that has been this fascial work. And it's so simple because it's literally a 15-minute video, and understanding that we're made of water, so you need to have good quality water and good quality minerals, and that our environment literally leaches it out of us. There's so many things in the air, the quality of the soil, perfumes, frequencies and fragrances, and none of it's talked about. It's all newly being understood and proven. And so yeah, I've had this journey of being a sensitive person, learning through feeling, and every time I discover something, it helps, and then you reach a certain point and you go, okay, well, what's the next thing, because this doesn't quite help. We even think that there's supposed to be one simple answer: take this thing and you feel better. Like there's no healing journey in natural occurring life that is linear and perfect. Even if you do like sprain your ankle, your body sends resources, swelling, there's tons of reactions. Things go down there, it's going to immobilize it first. Healing is actually what we call being sick or hurt. If you get a fever, you're not sick, you're healing. So there's always going to be the ups and downs and the discomforts. When it comes to experiencing it cognitively and emotionally, we think it's bad. We're not supposed to feel good all the time. We're not supposed to feel better when we want to. We're supposed to learn how to listen to it, interpret it, and experience it. And we go back to body keeps the score. If your mind can't hold it, your body holds it for you. That's a very simple definition of trauma. Something happened, my mind couldn't process it, so my body's saving it. And so you can literally see where people have been holding things in their body, whether it's a high shoulder or a limp or something that doesn't move.
Right. And I think what I resonate with is, if you have never been taught it's okay to, express your physical pain or express your feelings on an emotional level, and you were never modeled that, it becomes very challenging and overwhelming to the system.
Yeah.
to try to kind of shift this helplessness feeling to ownership. And I think the framework behind, like the framework and the philosophy that I appreciate about the Human Garage and what you do is that it's an opportunity to listen to your body, focus on your breath, focus on what you might be feeling physically or emotionally, and then to bring it to light and be like, okay, great. We're going to do some exercises. We're going to have some movement. We're going to walk around. And what I have found, like you touched on, is your perception changes. It literally just, you're more aware. I can hear the birds in your background right now. If I were super stressed right now and I was focused on what am I going to say next? It's like, no, this is just a conversation. I have the perception to be aware of what's going on in your surrounding because I'm present. Yeah. And when we're not present and we are running, 100 miles per hour in this stress, fight or flight mode, we can get ourselves physically hurt because we're not paying attention and we're just, we're running around with our chicken with their heads cut off because that's what society, I think, just encourages. Do more, keep pushing, keep doing anything to get to the next, whatever.
Yeah.
And it's not like, hey, Anthony, do you want to slow down and talk? What's really going on for you today?
Yeah. Go ahead.
It's so rare, I find, working with, I've got 14 clients, and I find that our society is encouraging and rewarding, continuing to push, continuing to struggle, continuing just to keep going.
Yeah.
And I think it's powerful when you hear the exact opposite of like, let's slow down and let's shut everything off and then let's really listen to what's going on.
Yeah. I mean, it's all powerful too. Like, there's so much importance of being able to work through pain physically and emotionally. Like, there are moments where it is an emergency and it's life or death, and you need to do that. But unfortunately, that's kind of how we're taught from the beginning. And so we literally live this urgent life or death world every day. Mm-hmm. People talk about an email coming in, and it's like, the understanding that, hey, that email's not a tiger trying to kill you, but their nervous system's so dysregulated and on edge that just one more notification and your brain's acting like as if there's a wild animal going to kill you. And what we're seeing is that that's just no longer working. If you look at it's really lifestyle that's not working. With Human Garage, they got really good at helping people hands-on. And so they would do it, they would feel better, they would come back, let's say a year later, and it would either be worse or something new popped up. And what they realized was that they would help people and they would go back into the same life and do the same things, feel the same things, think the same thoughts, all the patterns, and they would just come back. And sometimes even worse. Usually worse. So they figured out that they need to be able to help people. They like, how do we do this on ourselves and then show people how to do it on themselves? And if you go back and look, like we were talking about, like when I was in school, I taught football. I learned that if I hide my emotions on the football field, that's an advantage. You don't want someone to know you're tired. You don't want someone to know you're hurting. You don't even acknowledge it. So we get taught to not acknowledge, to be tough, ignore what we feel, and push. And so that's where this all kind of starts circling into this bigger, grander thing where it's like, this is healing community. You come to a class with me and 4 or 5 other women, and the first thing I do is want to know how you feel. And I want to make sure everyone connects and brings it up, and then let's slow down and find it. Whereas in your other classes, if it's an exercise class or whatever, it's like, okay, well, if you can't do that, we'll modify it and make sure you keep your heart rate up. And it's like, we're all burning calories, everything I did when I was younger was to change my body, to make me feel better about my body, make it bigger, make it stronger, be more attractive, make people like me. Everything I do now is to learn how to listen to my body so when I can accept the reality of what's happening, what is, what isn't, and be okay with it, and then choose what I want to do. I don't really lift weights anymore. I don't I don't really run a lot. I just played a softball game recently, and I'm like, oh, okay, I should probably go do some more sprinting training, and I know how to do that, right? But that's because I have fun when I do that, and it's fun to go hit a ball and run fast and not have your leg be sore for a week. That's a little too long. So okay, I'm gonna get my body used to that again, and I could listen to it and stop, and I didn't push through it, and I have a lot of resources to work with it. But we've just been trained to ignore things, to look good, avoid looking bad, to dominate, avoid being dominated, to be right instead of being wrong. Like, we're very confrontational, we're very controlling. It's the conversation of masculine energy versus feminine energy, really. And with the way things are going right now, there's a big push to come into the feminine energy of receiving, of flow, and masculine can be more about controlling and being fixated. And you see that with people, like even right side, left side of their body. Like if I'm gripping and trying to control things in life, it shows up in my right arm. If I'm over giving, it shows up in my right arm. Like if I'm releasing my left hand and I come up and I did 6 breaths like I always do it, but this time I'm like dizzy and I'm like, what's happening? I'm like, ooh, do I have problems receiving right now? Do I not feel comfortable receiving what's being offered to me? Is it help from people? Is it the gifts that are around me? Is the whatever? You can start to track this into your body. And that all came from learning to listen to my body. It's in Chinese medicine, it's in the chakra systems, it's in almost every ancient wisdom that's out there, but that's not how you get better, look better, and hit the other person and dominate. You know what I mean? So we didn't get taught that. So there's just a lot in what you just said there. And for me, it's like, yes, we weren't set up. And the one thing I try to do now is wake up and go, okay, what do I need today? What feels good for today? What works for today? But if I woke up every day and go, okay, if I want to have a 6-pack, I have to have my 6 eggs whites, and I have to do my fasted cardio, and it doesn't feel good. Oh, but I have this program, and today is bench day. Like, but like, people don't understand that. It doesn't matter what day it is. It is, Mondays are International Chest Day. No, that doesn't matter. I haven't trained my chest in years. Also, it's just a weird thing to say. Train your chest. What are you training it to do?
So what I'm hearing is you're saying when we think of strength training, train your chest, it's just take your body through exercises to build muscle, right?
Yeah.
Which we do in terms of movement. We do want to train our muscles in certain ways. Yeah. And it doesn't have to be, like you're saying, the conventional Mondays is going to be chest and triceps. Like, that type of framework isn't always functional depending on the individual.
Yeah, or just the moment. Like, just because we get so caught up in doing something because it's what we were told to do, or
it's a
what
framework.
Science says is whatever. Yeah, the framework. In my experience, we have not been taught to move the body correctly at all. When I was a personal trainer, I did everything based off of rotation. If you start to understand how the human body works, we're bipeds. If our left foot steps forward, our right arm swings in counter rotation. Your spine needs to rotate. I did nothing but assess people's gait with an understanding of how the nervous system and the brain coordinate all this stuff together. And what I found, getting people out of pain, getting myself out of pain, required rotation, lunges, single leg exercises, differentiating, rotating around your spine, getting your eyes and your head to understand if you could focus and move. There's so many things, and if you look at traditional training, has nothing to do with how the human body's, and there's so many ways you can enhance your body. And yes, you can force so much load into your legs that those muscles need to grow. But really, like, the way I look at it now, understanding the way that I've seen reflexes work with the nervous system and how fascia works, the musculoskeletal system is almost more of a defense system than anything. Like, if you trip and fall, you freeze and you get rigid. There's no reflexes in how you move when it's in flow. I think that has way more to do with your fascia. And the more I've trained my fascia through slow eccentric loading, gathering. So eccentric would be like the stretching of my arm. My bicep concentrically moves this way. So learning how to control movements, learning how to breathe and expand and freeing up my natural movement, I go out there and I play a sport and I actually move faster with more freedom versus trying to train it linearly. Or, I mean, even just with a weight, like just because you're stronger or you can move more weight doesn't always translate into being more free in movement, if that makes sense.
Yeah, there's a lot there.
So much. Yeah, I opened up a whole another thing there. We don't have to go there.
Yeah. No, no, but I think I guess to summarize all of that, I what I'm hearing is that there are points in time where maybe all like you in college or high school, all you knew was what you knew at the time. You knew playing football, this is our warm up, whatever that,
Yeah,
sprinting up and down the field is your warm up. Like, is
yeah,
that really preparing your body for what you're about to do? So, what I like about what your, fascia based, mobility driven work is that you're really preparing your body to go to live your day to day life.
exactly. Yeah, and you,
And yeah.
I can say it simply like this: you are what you practice. So if you're more practiced at feeling into your body, moving in flow, feeling and perceiving everything, that's going to translate onto a field. If you're a high level athlete and you can train your perception to open up, whether it's with eye exercises or just feeling through your skin and body, you're going to pick up on more. You're going to see that guy who's open to kick the ball to him, or you're going to be able to hit that ball that's going 102 miles an hour, or catch that ball seemingly without being able to see it, and quicker than the body can actually react that we've measured neurologically. So there's something there. So if all you're doing is training your chest by moving like this and then your triceps like this, you're just better at that. It's not
Hmm.
bad, it's not good, it's what's so.
Yeah.
And
It's just,
the more I did that, the more I noticed that I moved like a block. Did I have big chest muscles? Yes. And I had big triceps? Yes. But it didn't necessarily do much more than grow more muscle and pump blood. It's not necessarily bad. It's a good. To have more muscle mass is good. To have more blood flow is good. What you do with it and why you want that is specific for everyone, and it's just we my whole point overall was we were only taught one thing. We think that if I lift weights, I'm healthy, or
mhm.
we or that you need to be able to squat or deadlift. Like that, those are made up exercises. That's not part of the human manual. And if you look at how humans move most naturally, it does not involve having your feet parallel, flattening your back, locking your lats, pulling your belly button in, and lifting up a big ass thing. Also, if you go out in life, how often are you going to be able to slow down, settle in, get your form, and then no, if you pick up an object, you got to be able to move and twist and bend.
Mhm. Right. And so when you say, I want to touch on this, when you keep mentioning twisting and rotation. So um, for sports like golf or boxing or, um, any rotational tennis, pickleball, it's
Yeah,
so much impact. Every time you're the pitcher on the baseball team, you're
yeah,
going to throw X amount of pitches every single game. You are going to repeat the exact same movement countless times, hundreds of times. And that type of rotation is normal in the body. Our body's meant to rotate. Our body's meant to move. We have thoracic rotation in our
yeah.
spine, and so those are natural movements. And I think where the breakdown is that if you're going to repeatedly take your body through the exact same motion that it's meant to do. And if you don't have the awareness of really what is your body capable of in that moment on that day, because every day it changes.
Yeah.
And our coaches, our framework that we learned was you just keep going, just keep pushing,
Yeah.
just keep on going harder, do not stop.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's surprising when individuals get the opportunity to reconnect with themselves and listen to this struggle and then still have ownership and have that resilience to choose what do you want to do today with your body.
Yeah. it's freedom, it's choice. Like one thing Human Garage says is these exercises turn you into your primary care practitioner. So I still wake up with pain. Maybe I slept in a certain position. Maybe my mattress is getting a little too soft. I might have back pain when I wake up. Nine and a half times out of 10, I go in the backyard, I walk on the grass barefoot, I do my exercises, I hydrate, I have a bowel movement, it's gone, right? Those are all the factors that I know, because by the way, you can have pain, especially in your back, from your intestines. I've done a lot of visceral or organ work with people. There's just like there's a referral of like maybe this muscle's tight so you feel it in your neck, or your neck's tight so you feel it down here. You could have something going on in your intestines and feel it somewhere. You could have it going on in your liver and you feel it up here. I know that 95% of the time I'm going to get myself out of pain. When I can't, that's when I go, okay, what do I need? What have I not been doing? Am I dehydrated? Have I been sitting in a chair with my leg up the whole time? Am I working like this for too long? And then, okay, maybe I want to go see a massage therapist. I do want to go see a chiropractor. And then you're using it for that 5% of care. And maybe you spent the money, you didn't spend the money on it all the time, so you have something saved up for it, right? Like if you're relying on other people for your health, that costs a lot of money. But if you have a 15-minute video that you could follow, that's really empowering. And that shows you what's possible.
Right. And I think, as we discussed in the very beginning, pain is just your body communicating to you, something's happening, something's here. And so we have to listen to that. It's like, okay, what's my body telling me? Something's off today. My knee hurts. My lower back hurts right now. Okay, great. And having the ability to have that awareness, then to be able to take the action yourself, if you want, to go out into your backyard for 15 minutes and you're going to do 6 exercises because you know it works. You don't have to really think about it. You just go outside, you have your routine. So in your morning, your routine, you just said, you wake up, you drink a glass of water, you go outside, you do your fascia maneuvers.
Yeah.
Your feet are grounded in the soil. You're out in nature, you're in the sun. What does your perception look like within just like those, that was 20 minutes? 20 minutes, and then
it changes really fast. Go ahead.
So, free.
Yeah.
Getting grounded in nature. Free. Taking yourself through 6 exercises. Free.
The water, that's a little bit different. It's hard to get good free water.
We all do have access to water though. Versus like coffee first thing in the morning and just like spiking.
Well, that's the difference between a choice. But quality water, right? If you're getting good like reverse osmosis water, it just needs minerals. It's not necessarily gonna hydrate you as much. Right. Having some mineral water, it's not too much, or having some coconut water or some fruit instead of coffee.
Right. So what does that do to your whole day? Really, I would say.
I mean, hey, I'm a normal person for the most part in that I wake up with pain. I have voices in my head that tell me that you're not good enough, or I might doubt things, or feel depressed. I still want to drink coffee sometimes, and then I have it 5 days in a row, and then I'm like, I wake up and I'm thinking about coffee. I'll use nicotine products, anything, right? You use these things to feel better, but when you find a way to self-source and self-soothe, there's something different that happens. My routine, I was literally in the shower one day and I was like going in my head, I'm like, okay, I know I need to write, I know I need water, I know I want to journal, and I know I want to meditate. And I came up with WWMM, and it was water, write, move, and meditate. Water, write, move, meditate. So every day to start my day, I go, okay, what feels best to go first? What do I need more of? Do I do it all? Not all the time. But after I brush my teeth, it's water. And then do I need to sit down and write right now? Or do I need to go move first? Or do I need to sit still? Or maybe I notice every day I'm going right to the backyard to move first. And I'm like, okay, are you overusing the movement? Do you need to sit still first? And then write about it and how that was hard. These are just things I found because I like to play little experiments and be perceptive of myself. And they're basic tools. They're all, for the most part, free or very inexpensive. Um,
What, bringing it back to the nervous system,
mm-hmm.
what do simple changes in your environment, like we just said, those four, what do we know that that does to the nervous system in terms of our ability to process stress or other emotions throughout the day?
Yeah, you, your body, your nervous system is designed to keep you alive, and more specifically to replicate yourself. We're like a plant. Don't die and make a copy, right? So that means survive and find someone to make a baby with. That's like the inherent reptile brain of us. So anything that's not that, any perceived threat, that stresses us out. All the resources go to that. Once you start to get your system out of threat, everything opens up. So when you can just slow down and breathe, that's actually your consciousness, right? It keeps you alive. You breathe in consciousness. If you stop breathing, you're unconscious. So slowing down and breathing, life opens up perception again. You have more options available. If you breathe better, you have more options for movement too. It really just comes down to having more resources available for options and possibility versus I need to curl in a ball and not die. That's what I've learned through thousands of dollars and thousands of hours of education. And the most simple thing you could do is come back to breathing and awareness. I don't even remember what your original question was.
The original,
Then something about the nervous system.
yes. I was saying how in our society currently, what I observe is that, the morning is a rush. There's traffic, there's a jam, there's coffee, there's running late to the meeting, and it's like everything is so accelerated, and it doesn't have to be.
It can be as quick and as affordable as you're willing to let it be.
Right.
I know that I should journal. I know that I should sit down and meditate. There's countless YouTube videos. You can even just sit there and take 6 breaths. I did this on my Instagram the other day. Just stop and take 6 deep breaths for a reset. Like, that's meditation. Yeah, so just sitting down, set a timer for 2 minutes. Breathe through your nose. Do a few extra. It doesn't have to. Again, fascial maneuvers are what work best for me. But any kind of movement, you could do jumping jacks. It doesn't matter. Like, just having a routine where you're moving and you're breathing, drinking some water first. It's all these very small choices so that your system comes out of stress, so things can change.
Right. And what I know works for me might not work for you, and it also might not work for my husband or my best friend or anyone. But I know there are tools, and I know there are tools available, and I know I can ask for help. I know I could research a therapist. I could research a doctor. I could research any professional in the medical field. I have that ability, and I also love that I have the tools in my own kind of, I call it my toolkit. Like, I literally think about my brain and my nervous system like I have tools. I have all these tools available, and what might work today actually might not work for me tomorrow. So I have tools. I'm like, okay, well, that didn't really seem to do anything. But I do know simple things like going outside for a walk. That's a tool. Getting outside in nature is a tool that I can use pretty much every single day at some point in time. And so that type of simplicity of just like getting outside, get in nature, listen to some birds, look at what the trees are doing. It changes your perception. And it's this reset where you're like, why was I getting stir crazy? And then I'm like, okay, I need to listen to myself. And I know my body's just like, I'm in fight or fight right now. And yet I am so safe. And so I'm like, okay, well, my body's trying to tell me something. So I want
Yeah.
to listen, and I know I need to change my environment in order for that to happen. And you can go out to your backyard. You can go for a walk around your building or your house or whatever that might be for you. I think that's where the power comes from, and that's where like this empowerment of kind of owning this type of transformation. And if you don't know these tools are even available, and all you think is available is outsourcing it, I think it becomes really overwhelming, and then you're just stuck because because you're given so much information and no one breaks it down for you.
Yeah.
And I think that's the difference of coaching, is knowing there's other options and knowing all the options you could choose,
Yeah.
and then like really having someone to take the time to check in with you about what's going on in this process for you. And I think that's where the teaching comes in hand, where if you don't know what your options are, you're only told one thing, then you're never going to get different results.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's so much out there, it can be overwhelming. When I was a coach in San Francisco, and I was running a gym, I coached the coaches there. I was responsible for them. From the Z Health perspective, which was looking at the nervous system, we were told like to look at it from, you are an options facilitator as a coach. And you can see that. Like someone sits down and talks to you and you have a million options in your head for them. But it's like, okay, well, which options can their nervous system even handle right now? Because
Yes.
it's going to be too much really quickly, and which one is the best choice.
Mm-hmm.
And so you want to start with your own toolkit, and you want to keep it super small, super replicable and repeatable, and you want to
Mm-hmm.
keep track. Your nervous system is designed for safety, like I said. That means it wants things to stay the same and stay predictable. That's why we end up back on the couch with the same TV show, or at the same time with the same pint of ice cream. Like, and there's nothing wrong with those things, but you'll find again that the more you find these small habits, like taking time to breathe, taking a 30-minute walk, and just getting in nature, literally things we're designed to do. We're not designed to sit in chairs. We're not designed to even like bend over a sink, right? Like sinks weren't part of the human design. I've got people that are like, oh yeah, you go to this class, like hinge like this because that's how you can bend over the sink and wash your hands. I'm like, no, that's not. I mean, sure, that's helpful, but that doesn't mean that's how you're supposed to move. You're supposed to go walk. You're supposed to go climb and be in nature. So what you're saying is look for this. What I'm hearing you say is look for the simplest ways to listen to yourself, get back in nature and do natural things, and your body won't perceive it as dangerous, and you won't have to get stuck in those familiar safety things like I
Mm-hmm.
was talking about. Like, I know that when I get stressed out, I'm going to want a burrito. I know I might end up watching TV because I've got so much on my mind that I want a distraction, or get into those kind of routines. Maybe I want ice cream or something. None of those things are inherently bad, but if I'm doing that every day, there's an impact on my body from, whether it's the inflammation or my digestion being a certain way, which is fine, but it's also, there's an impact on me not feeling the things that those are now covering up. Like, I don't mind if I eat a burrito and have ice cream, and in fact, my body can metabolize that pretty good, and I'll still look decent. Like, I'm not gonna be like, oh my god, I'm so overweight or something, and be like sad because I don't like the way my body looks. But what happens for me is I get this nagging craziness in the back of my head going, what are you using that burrito to hide from?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just at a point, it's kind of like as a coach, as when you get to certain points, once you kind of break through a veil and you discover something, you can't really go back. It's like being in a parking lot where you go over the spikes and this way you can go over, but if you back over, it pops your tires.
Mm-hmm.
It's like once you see something and experience it, you go, okay, now I need to be responsible for that. I know that if I'm eating certain foods or doing certain things, I'm avoiding certain feelings.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a brilliant place to be. And if you can go a little deeper into, sometimes it's like, okay, when did I learn that feeling angry wasn't allowed and expressing anger wasn't allowed? And I can see why I'm doing that. And then I go, okay, wow, I was 5 years old and my parents were embarrassed because I was having a fit in a store, and now that's part of my psyche and understanding how to survive in the world of impressions and fitting in. And then I learn in sports that I can get as mad as I want. I just can't say, hey, you're wrong, and hey, I hurt. So here I am at 38, suppressing myself, and it comes out as me sitting on a couch and watching TV and eating food that maybe isn't making me feel good, but really it just comes down to, can I feel what I feel in my body, interpret that into an emotion, express that emotion, let it move and flow, and then live the life I want to. Because some days I want to have a burrito and watch a movie and eat ice cream, but I really don't want to do that every night. And when I'm doing shit like that, I'm not being the person I want to be. So I explain that because I know we all get stuck in cycles, and there's a lot of right or wrong, good and bad, do this, don't do that. My goal is to do whatever I want to do, but know that I'm doing it because I chose it, not because I'm being one of those reflexes that are so brilliant they keep me alive.
Right. I want to share 3 tools that I personally use that personally work for me. And I want to share this because, like, I am just so passionate about having this toolkit now, because I finally have the ability to identify emotions when I wasn't necessarily taught them in, like we've been talking about. And so what I know what works for me is, like I said, number 1 is nature exposure. And the reason why I know that this is backed by science is because we know that when you're changing your visual and your sensory field, that it's actually inherently regulating. Like, it actually, that's science. And so I'm like, oh, that's why it works. Nature exposure, great. I'm going to hold on to that, and I'm putting that in my back pocket every single day with me because I know it works. And so when you have a simple tool like that, it is not so overwhelming. It's like, oh no, I know what I can do. I can do this. Okay. And I'm not like just suppressing it and sitting on a couch for 7 days in a row, having that ice cream and that movie. It's like, that's not actually regulating. Maybe it's calming in the moment, but it still could be a little bit of avoidance for me personally.
Yeah.
And another tool that I love for myself is I love orienting my environment. So this really simple practice where I look around whatever room I'm in. Doesn't matter if I'm in an airport, doesn't matter if I'm at the lakefront trail with 100 people I don't know. It doesn't matter. I can use this anytime. And I simply sit down and I observe 5 things in my environment. And like, I name them. I have a conversation with myself, and I'm like, my dog is sleeping on the floor. I have lemon water on my countertop. Like, and it's a redirecting that I know works. And I'm like, okay, great. I'm running with that. I love that. That really helps. And then the third one that I know works for me is I like physiological warmth. So that means I can take a bath. That's another great thing I know I can do. And the reason why I like having 3 things for me personally is because I can't take a bath at any moment throughout the day. Like, if I'm working or if I'm gone, I can't just be like, I need a bath.
Yeah.
And I still know, I'm like, okay, I can't take my bath right now. I'm, out to dinner with family or whatever. The bath's not there. So what I can do, I can orient myself in my environment. And having 3 things that I know work for me, I'm like, that's all I need.
Yeah. And they're all great tools. They all help you get present. They help your system locate yourself, and then there's safety in that.
Right.
And that's why they work. And I like what you're saying about find what works for you. And I found what works for people is the things that they'll just do. Like, okay, I will do that. If you just aren't going to do it, then it's not going to work. So many things can work. So pick your favorites. Pick the ones that you'll have access to. I like that you have options to go to, depending on where you are or aren't. It's beautiful.
Yeah, and this is something I I talk with my clients with every single day is, if you're still experiencing this physical pain, all this stress, let's discuss some other tools that you can do that maybe your doctors aren't suggesting. I don't I didn't learn from a doctor to take a bath. I didn't learn nature
No.
exposure. I didn't learn orienting myself in my environment. Those were not ever options for me. And now that I have these options, I'm like, this is what everyone should know. Like,
Yeah,
why
I'm
aren't we
like that
talking
too.
about
Yeah,
I'm
it's
like,
hard.
this, it's,
Yeah.
no, it's simple. Everything I
Yeah.
just said, simple. We got to break
Yeah.
it down back to the basics.
Yeah, exactly. We weren't taught the basics. We're seeing a collective, like, rebuilding of some kind of, I guess it would be self care culture. Because if you look in every other ancient culture or someone that's been around, they actually have this stuff that's been passed down. I remember I would see in San Francisco at the park in Chinatown, there's these aunties and uncles and grandmas. They're out there swinging their arms and they're doing this and doing that, and they're like, yeah, that's been an ancient martial art. It's been an art of understanding yourself and well-being and moving energy. All the woo stuff that we like talk about, it's like it's not woo, man. It's like, or whatever. It is woo, sure, but it's like we have this negative context of it. It's like, no, we're just in this baby of a culture that's been around for what, 250, 300 years, and we go, yeah, we got all this science and the doctor says this. It's like, well, the practice of medicine is still pretty new, and it's not everything. And sure, I go to the doctor if I have a very large like open wound, and I've been there for surgeries when I needed them, and it was wonderful, and I even needed an antibiotic that saved my finger.
Mm-hmm. Of
But
course.
really, if you can't rely on all those things. Those modern marvels are great, but really the real magic is in like what they would say is, chopping wood and carrying water, and just like being in movement, in nature, in a flow each day. Like that's what
Right.
people actually want. They think they want something. They want to feel a certain way. It's like you actually what you want is a structure and a flow to your life that is balanced.
You
That's what
know,
I've discovered.
I've discovered the same thing. And I would almost counter what we're saying though, because I think it's in the nature of our society is a quick fix.
Mm-hmm.
To get to that balance, and the disconnect is that quick fix doesn't get you to where you want to be, and it's like,
Yeah.
okay.
Well, and you'll discover that too. It'll happen if you're just meditating because it gets you to the next. I mean, that could be good too, but like you're gonna figure it out. You can't just use these things as a band-aid forever. They're wonderful coping mechanisms at first,
Mhm.
but it's to get you aware, to increase your perception, to then look back and go, wait, I'm gonna change this because that's what's not working and that's what's making me sick. I'm not just gonna find more good stuff to do so I can keep doing the things that make me sick. Because no matter how many fascial maneuvers I do, no matter how many insights I have, no how many times I squat or sprint, if I don't learn to accept my anger, speak my truth, and feel okay with that, the things are gonna keep coming back. It all comes down to being okay with your own body and your own experience, which comes down to expressing what you feel, your emotions. You feel your feelings, those are emotions that are trying to come through. And there's
Right.
nothing about that when you go to a doctor's office.
I think to pull it all together full circle.
Rabbit, yeah, whatever. It's a fun conversation.
No, I know. I could talk about this for hours.
Yeah, yeah, let's.
It What I want to circle back is we started talking about physical pain.
Yeah, yeah.
And then we transitioned into talking more about, how to address physical pain because again, that's a sign we really need to listen to it. Our body's telling us something
Yeah,
and there are options out there
yeah.
aside from maybe what one doctor's telling you.
100%. Again, we've just been taught if, if it hurts, go see a doctor. They give you medicine, but none of that.
There's
That's
like
just
it's kind of a more one size fits all solution.
yeah. What I've learned is that, like I said, pain is a communication. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know if there's a difference between physical pain and emotional pain. Like, There's ways like if I push my elbow into someone's quad and their leg, like as you're pushing pressure down, it starts to hurt. Like, okay, so that the nerves perceive the pressure, the
Mm-hmm.
signal's going up to your brain is going, this isn't okay. There's a potential threat, like please stop, this is
Mm-hmm.
bad. But it's just trying to get you to move
Mm-hmm.
or to get that thing to stop. But like if you're feeling something, you need to understand that it's your body communicating.
Right.
Like
And that's what
that's
it's meant
it.
to do.
That's
It's
it.
just a signal.
It's doing what a body does, and that doesn't
Right.
mean you need to ask someone why. It doesn't mean you need to take something. Your pain is not a deficit of Vicodin. It's not like, oh, you know what I'm missing is drugs. I mean, but then again, if you do take them too much, you can have pain, and that's literally your body going, "Hey, I'm addicted to this thing, and it hurts without it." So that's a
Right.
fun one. But yeah,
Yes. The
we
I
have
guess what I'm trying my summary is all it is it's a signal, it's a sign, and uh, like any uncomfortable
yeah.
feeling, it's just something to be aware of. It's nothing more than that.
It's actually good and it's necessary.
Yes. Yeah.
There's people who have disorders, or I don't know what it would be categorized as. They cannot perceive pain. So if they're like their nerve receptors or whatever it is don't signal. So it's
Right.
possible for them to literally sit in one position for so long that it can cause harm to them, or to do something and not know that they're causing harm to their body. We absolutely were designed with pain receptors. We need to have pain. But you can stimulate a pain receptor with pressure by pushing on it, but you could also have pain there from something here. You could also have pain here because you're sad. Like, so it's
Right. Yeah.
one
Physical
thing I've
pain.
learned to go ahead.
Go ahead. No. I was going to say physical pain it's not something to avoid. It's actually just a teaching moment, I think, when it comes down to it, that, instead of looking
Sure.
at injury as being stuck, it's like, okay, well, yeah, you're experiencing this. It's really good insight to have that awareness. And the body is so capable of healing. Um, it's pretty miraculous how well our
Yeah.
body heals. And
Yeah.
I think it's scary for people. I think it's intimidating. I think it's overwhelming. And I think it's also hugely important for individuals to know, through fascia maneuvers or mobility driven work or just movement, that your body can adapt and change, and the body's extremely resilient.
Yeah. Well, we know that the brain is neuroplastic, right? It's changeable. The brain changes. Your plasticity has plasticity, so you can adapt faster at adapting. We're able to change. Pain is an indication that change needs to happen, and
Mm-hmm.
so you can come to a point through whatever practice you find that, okay, if I don't like the way I feel, this feels uncomfortable, I want change. So then you have to figure out which things to stop doing, which things to start doing, and then move on to the next uncomfortable point. And you get
Right.
better at doing that. You get
Mm-hmm.
better at doing uncomfortable things, just like when you go and do a cold bath, if that's what you like. Like, you get better at doing something uncomfortable. You actually train a part of your brain that gets you more accustomed to diving into something. It doesn't have to be cold water, but to doing something that might cause you discomfort.
Right. And I think, that's exactly it. That's hard. It's hard
It is.
to change. It is uncomfortable. And I think
We're designed to not change. We're designed to
yeah,
stay the same.
correct. We are designed to
But
do some things consistency. Our brain loves consistency. Our
yeah,
brain loves structure. Our brain does not like change. It's hard.
no,
And when we know the body's keeping score, we need to rewrite this story. And if we don't change, we're going to continue in this cycle.
yeah,
And
that's
so
it.
I think, in terms of however you want to look at pain, looking at it as a portal to create a new identity, or just like a simple shift to get to this bigger transformation, is really micro. It's really tiny little micro things
Mm-hmm.
that will lead to this big shift. It can't be,
100%.
I'm not signing up for a marathon to run tomorrow. I'm gonna
No.
get really hurt.
Well, and even like, let's say it'd be cool to sign up. Like, okay, the person I want to be is someone who could run a marathon in the next year. Okay, sign up for that one in a year and do it. But you might even get to that year later and go, I don't actually want to run a marathon.
Yeah, you don't have to.
I'm able to,
Yeah,
but
right.
my brain made up that that would make me happy or that would make me good enough. Like I see a lot of that stuff where people
Hmm.
would just pick arbitrary things because it's just picking something hard, and sometimes that's what you need to do.
Hmm.
So it just helps. If you're not connected to something, then it's good to get connected to something. I feel like people like you and I, since we're in love with trying to help other people, and we you have to do it through helping yourself first. That we don't need much more of a reason to dive into ourselves, because if we don't, we're not gonna be effective at helping others.
Right,
It's like
right,
I don't need to set a lofty goal of lifting a certain amount of weight or doing whatever. I just need to keep maintaining this search for myself. Like that's
right,
all I'm doing. I'm
right.
like
And I
I'm
think,
like what's me and what's reflexive behavior? Because I'm really intrigued by if I'm if my body has been reflexively protecting me with the things I do and say and all this stuff, like what is actually me? And so all of the exercises and practices I do are to help discover, like, all right, what's me and what's the threat response? What's the survival response?
right. And I think there's, you can look at the psychology of, feeling like you're just giving up on yourself, or nothing's changing if you just continue to give up on yourself. And I think in terms of looking at something that seems like such a huge goal of, I want to lose 50 pounds, or I'm just going to take a shot and it'll do it for me. Like, the quick fix of the shot
Yeah.
seems so easy, seems so simple, so replicable. Every morning you're just going to do this one thing,
Yeah.
instead of not doing it yourself, but setting up your
But
environment so
you
that you have an opportunity to start making
yeah,
moves slowly towards that goal.
exactly. Well, you're not addressing the thing that got you to where you are now, right? Like
Right,
if your body is where it is now, there's your whole life you live to get there. So if you
right,
did take something that made that go away, you'd be missing
right.
all the signals that your body was giving you that I want change.
I had a conversation yesterday with someone at the dog park, and they told me that the only way that they get their wife to drink water is, they go to Costco and they
That's
buy
interesting.
an industrial.
I have to pause you on this one. I have to run. I have a call that's starting. Another call that's starting like now.
You're so good.
You and I went for way too long. I'm sorry.
Okay, I
I
gotta tell
love
you a
this
story.
and I
Okay.
cannot not. Yeah. All
All
right.
right. Thank you for coming on, Anthony. We will
Yeah.
continue part two sometime in the
Yeah.
future.
All right. Take
All
care.
right. Bye.
Bye bye.